Kavya, it's live. Can you switch on your video?
Yeah. Namaskaram, everybody. Welcome to the online annual celebration of Samarpana. Today, Samarpana has successfully completed 1 year. Thanks to all of you for your love, support, and encouragement. So today we will be starting with a short invocation, following which the program will start as scheduled. Maitrim bhajat akhil hrijayatri. Maitrim bhajat akhil hrijayatri. Atmavadeva paranapi pashyata. Atmavadeva paranapi pashyata. Yudham tyajata स्पर्धां त्यजत. युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत. त्यजत परेश क्रममां क्रमणम्. त्यजत परेश क्रममां क्रमणम्. मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजयत्री. जननी पृथ्वी कामदुहास्ते. जननी पृथ्वी कामदुहास्ते. जनको देवः सकल दयालुः. जनको देवः सकल दयालुः. दाम्यत दत्त दयध्वं जनतां. दाम्यत दत्त दयध्वं जनतां. श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां. श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां. श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां. श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां. श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kavya, for the beautiful invocation. Namaskaram, everyone. I'm very delighted. We're all, the Samarpana family is very delighted to welcome you to the first event of today's annual day celebrations. It is with a very special guest, Vinay Varanasi, where we'll explore Vasudeiva kutumbhakam, where he'll explain, and he has something special for all of us today. So we look into what it is. Samarpana's first year. So this has been a phenomenal 1 year, only and only because of all of you. The entire artist fraternity came together to support another bunch of artists. And because of your generous support, because of all the donors' generous support, because of all your performances, we were able to collect funds and give it to people who were in need. Give it to people who didn't even have one morsel of food to eat. So thank you so, so, so much. The entire program is dedicated to all of you. Thank you very much. Over to Vinay. So before that, I would like to tell a few things about Vinay. Vinay Varanasi is an architect by profession. In the field of music, he takes up compositions and expresses them visually through paintings. He's exploring collaborations with musicians to showcase the confluence of music and visual arts. His first endeavor in this effort was a collaboration with Ramakrishnan Murthy titled Talabhyam. He has collaborated and curated programs with Vivek Sadashivam and Sumesh Narayanan in this regard. Vinay's interest in Sahitya has also led him to co-translate the compositions of Yogi Narayana of Kaiwara. He writes Pallavi lyrics, and these Pallavis have been tuned and sung by Vidushis Ranjini and Gayatri, Ramakrishnan Murthy, and J.A. Jayant. Namaskaram, Vinay. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. In the few interactions that we have had, we've always been in awe of the knowledge that you have, of the humble being that you are. So thank you very much for starting this session.
I think it's such an honor for me to be speaking on 1 year of not just an effort to bring artists together, but to really understand what is art taking us towards. So thank you, Samarpana, and thank you, Gayatri, for such kind words. When Gayatri ji had reached out to me and said that the theme of this was Vasudeiva kutumbhakam, it instantly sparked such a beautiful feeling inside me, because the purpose of art, the purpose of Kala, as described in Puranic literature, is fundamentally to help us go within. And any process of going within is always represented visually very beautifully. So Vasudeiva Kutumbakam is one such aspect which talks about how, as we all know, the world is one large family, but it also brings a certain onus and a certain relevance to the idea that as one family, how do we learn to step forward and really hold each other through all kinds of beautiful situations, all kinds of interesting, tricky situations. And one very important component of Vasudeva Kutumbakam is the idea that when we learn to use our art in whatever form and we offer it, when it becomes a Samarpana, then what results from that Samarpana is much greater than an individual's contribution. It becomes something that is much more than about the individual. It becomes about the cause itself. There is a beautiful iconography that is used to depict this in our literature. There is a concept that we are all familiar with, that Lakshmi sits at Vishnu's feet. This is a little problematic for some people because we believe, why does she need to be at his feet? But if we go to the actual story, when Lakshmi marries, when she decides to marry Vishnu, he gives her a spot in his heart, in his Lakshasthara, and she chooses to stay at his feet. So what is this? What is the relevance of this, and why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the idea of this is that whatever is given to us, whatever art, whatever sampada is given to us by Narayana himself, using this, that comes from his heart, using this back as an offering to him, as a samarpana to him, and using it for causes that take us closer to him and our co-travelers closer to him. That is really the purpose of any sampada. So that beautiful spirit that Samarpana has been doing, say, encouraging all of us to look beyond just our means and to be able to use our art to support people who are especially going through a very difficult time during this lockdown is a very, very beautiful. It's not just about a message, it's also about the method with which they've been carrying out. So Vasudeva Kutumbakam is such a crisp, beautiful statement depicting exactly this. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, as we said, means the world is one family. But Kutumba in the Sanskrit context means being able to stay together during trying times. That is the fundamental definition. A group that stays together during very challenging times is known as a kutumba. So family is obviously something that is derived from there. But one need not always think of a family just as one's relatives. We're all connected through this common cord of our interest in the arts, and that's what Samarpana has used as a foundation block for setting up such a meaningful space. So when we look at Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the invitation is that all of us start to use our art as an offering, as a bridge that we walk on to get onto this beautiful boat and then take us wherever it has to go. So in this context, I was thinking to myself that one very interesting concept or sub-concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam is the concept of Vatsalya or compassion. Compassion is very different from pity. While pity arises from a savior complex and a certain superiority, compassion or Vatsalya or grace arises from the heart, the opening of the heart chakra, the Anahata chakra is where Daya comes from. So that beautiful idea can be explored so much through art, through visual art, through music, and this is exactly where I wanted to. This small bit of offering is what I would like to contribute to the wonderful work that Samarpana is doing. I have put together 3 paintings that I feel encompass the idea of Vatsalya for me. And these 3 paintings I would like to offer to absolutely anybody who is interested as prints in A5. And these prints will be couriered and will be reaching you. And the offering is whatever money you pay for these prints will be going into Samarpana's work for the Vastradanam, for the Annadanam, for supporting vulnerable artists during this period. The idea of this is to be able to feel the Vatsalya um, in the form of the painting that we may receive, and to therefore be able to contribute our own bit of compassion and not pity into the work that Samarpana is doing. So these 3 prints, I will take you through the thought process behind each of them. Gayatri ji, can we just look at the first and the second print?
Sure.
So the first print that you see in front of you is something that has been very close to my heart. This is a 9-year-old expression. This is called Bala Tripura Sundari. This is the goddess in her youthful glory. And here, if you see the goddess, she is so immersed in the moment that this painting is not about religious perfection. This painting is not even about artistic perfection. It does have some flaws, but I think that's where the realness of it comes, because the idea is that compassion is real. It's not perfect. Compassion flows, and the flow makes us dance. The flow makes us live in the moment. So here, this concept is, as you can see, the top part of the frame has flowers, and each flower that comes in contact with the goddess becomes a star in itself. That is exactly why what you see in the second part of the painting is the entire Nakshatra Mandala. So teaching each one of us somewhere at our own level that we are all stars because we've all been in touch with divinity, and we are in touch with divinity through our own art. So this is the first print that will be available as an offering to this cause that Samarpana is working on. The second print in this respect is titled Vatsalya. This, I think, speaks for itself, where you can see 2 different forms of divinity, you can call them 2 different forms of life coming together and lying together in all their innocence. And I think somewhere that is also some of the beautiful collaborations and the kind of work that I've been seeing on Samarpana's online concerts and their dance and music hostings. And I think uh, that's it's not just the nature of the collaborations, but it's also the spirit behind the collaborations. And it felt so appropriate for a piece like this to find itself. Both of them are lying on a lotus leaf. Both of them are calm. Vatsalya is a guna that is almost always followed by calmness or shanti. So it's impossible to separate the two. So here you see Krishna and a little Gaja. For the Ganapati Bhaktas, this is Ganesha. For the religious ones, they'll find their own form in this. For the artistic ones, there is something. So the idea is, again, not to tom-tom the painting and talk about what it might mean, because that interpretation is open to each one of us. But the idea is to just ask and invite each one of you to ask yourselves, if you would like to take this painting home, keep a small print of this with you, and in turn offer your own compassion, your own Vatsalya to Samarpana by paying a little bit for these. We have designed this in such a way that this is available in a range, the entire painting series. So you can choose something in the range that works for you. We believe that this is also a little bit more organic and decommercializes art, because the idea is to open a discussion and see what might work for each individual. The third painting is very central to the concept of Vasudeiva kutumbhakam and will be specially released tomorrow. And this concept is, I'm something very excited to be presenting it, and it will come out tomorrow. So with that, we will be releasing a Google form for those of you who are interested. And we also ask you to, as much as you may see these paintings and see this form, we also ask you to think and look local. What are the situations around you where people might need some support? Because Vasudeva Kutumbakam is not is not something restricted to one strain or to one concept alone, one dimension. It is all around us. And Adi Shankaracharya has said so beautifully and so powerfully, Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam, meaning Bandhava Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam. My every relative of Shiva is my relative. Every bhakta of Shiva, sorry, is my relative. And that spirit, that everybody who is connected to the divinity and who is not connected to divinity, if they are in that, then that makes the three worlds full of my own folks. With this approach, I thank Samarpana for this lovely opportunity to allow me to make my small humble offering to whatever they are doing. I'm little overwhelmed that for an organization that is doing so much work, for them to support, for them to give me a platform to say, to allow my little contribution, it really, really means a lot. And we ask you to think of this not as a conventional sense of a donation, but with the idea of an offering, because a donation is different and an offering is an act of love. So we ask you to make that act of love with respect to these prints in whatever way and support Samarpana, because meaningful work deserves meaningful support. So with that, I'd like to thank Samarpana and also thank each one of you who have made this possible. I have been lucky in the past few months to see such fantastic performances on Samarpana, and I think that alone, that stamina that they have to have continued this in a meaningful, thorough way itself deserves some recognition and support. So with that, thank you and namaskar. I just want to know if there are any questions, then we can take any questions on this particular concept of Vasudeiva kutumbhakam. I didn't want to make this a historic discussion on what is Vasudeiva kutumbhakam, where does the phrase appear, because there are multiple versions on this, and the idea is not to be textual about this particular phrase, but really to get into its heart.
We just wait if there are any questions for 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vinay. Such kind words. And this offering means a lot to us because right from when we started working as Samarpana, we have seen beautiful things coming together, beautiful magical things coming together. Artists like you, other dancers taking workshops, donating. So thank you so much for this. This means a lot to us and a lot for the people who will be benefited from this. So thank you very, very much. And as Vinayji beautifully talked about the concept of Vasudeiva kutumbhakam and the concept of having that feeling of offering. So that is what Samarpana is also all about, having that feeling of offering. So when you have the feeling of offering, for us, when we had that feeling of, each and every day when we have that feeling of offering, we don't even feel like that we're doing some work, we're doing, for this and this, cause, or no, it's just part of us. It's just part of everything around us. So it's something really beautiful when we work together with this feeling of offering. So I'll just wait if there are questions.
I like how you said that it doesn't feel like work after a point because it just comes naturally. I think that's that's what makes work seem like an offering, right? The second we really make it an offering, the strain of it goes off almost completely. So that's such a beautiful thought.
Okay, we've asked them to, ping. We've asked the audience to ping questions if there are any later. We will send it across to you. And again, thank you, Vinayji, for your offering. Again, these are beautiful paintings. When you look at the paintings done by him, it's free flowing and it's so full of life, so full of emotions. It's just beautiful, and you'll just treasure it forever. So we request, because he has had this thought of offering, and he has taken up so much efforts to do these paintings just for us. So if you feel like buying these, we will put it up on our feed every day. So you can just fill up the Google form and you'll get it in matter of 3 or 4 days. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vinayji, so much. Thank you very much for this session. It's been a great start for the event. Thank you so much.